Welcome to Fireside Faith Podcasts. Hi, I'm Cindy, and I'm here with my husband, Matthias. Picture this. Last Sunday in the morning at exactly 7:19, the sun was starting to rise over Lake Bob Sandlin. That's here in East Texas. The temperature outside was in the low 20s. The lake water was warmer than the air, so it created a steam fog rising from the lake. It's a magical phenomenon that comes only in the winter, but I love watching the fog dance on the water.
That's fascinating how these conditions also create a powerful change in everyday life of Texans, dealing with tons of ice all over the roads. We only see that a couple of times in the winter.
Yeah, and we're all experiencing something quite rare here. All 254 Texas counties were under weather warnings simultaneously.
That's right. It's part of that massive winter storm system that's affected over 235 million people across the country.
You know, what strikes me is how different Lake Bob Sandlin feels during this Arctic blast compared to the warmer air we are used to.
There's something profound about that transformation. The Bible actually speaks about ice and winter quite extensively.
Really? Tell me more about the connection to the Bible.
For instance, in Romans 1:20 it says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, both his eternal power and his divine nature, have been clearly seen. They are perceived in the things God has made."
Yeah, that's incredibly relevant to what we're experiencing right now.
Exactly, and do you know what's special about this morning? The sunrise this week precisely at 7:19 a.m.
And that timing feels significant somehow?
It is. In many spiritual traditions, dawn represents renewal and hope, especially during winter's darkest moments.
Speaking of winter's impact, I understand this cold front brought some serious challenges.
Yes, Governor Abbott declared a disaster for 134 counties to ensure resources are available.
Yeah, that's quite serious.
Winter has traditionally been seen as a God-given time of rest and reflection.
A time of rest, even when it's challenging?
Especially then, Psalm 74:17 reminds us that God made summer and winter. There's purpose in every season.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And what about the landscape itself? What spiritual significance do you think it holds?
Landscapes reveal God. Nature shows us there is a higher power than ourselves. It reminds us of our place in creation.
And I imagine that's especially powerful during an icy sunrise.
Absolutely. The contrast between the cold and the rising sun creates an incredible moment of divine connection. And during this Arctic blast, when temperatures drop into the lower teens, it creates an almost otherworldly atmosphere. Ain't I smart? You didn't know that, did you?
Right. No comment. So, how do you imagine these conditions affect time in morning devotionals?
The extreme cold keeps people in their homes longer. At least it should. Not like one of our neighbors that fell twice when she was trying to fill the bird feeder.
Yes, I know someone who fell too.
The Bible often uses winter imagery to represent times of spiritual testing and growth.
And I suppose falling on ice can turn into a time of testing for sure.
Like in 2 Timothy 4, verse 21, where Paul is urging Timothy to come before winter, showing that winter is a time of isolation and difficulty. Paul himself was in a season of testing.
And that's fascinating. And how does the timing of sunrise play into this?
The sunrise at 7:19 a.m. is a perfect moment where darkness gives way to light, symbolizing hope and transformation.
And what about the sunset? Is that equally significant?
Yes, at 5:53 p.m. this week, creating a defined period of daylight that feels almost sacred during these winter days.
It's like nature is creating a specific time frame for reflection.
Exactly. In these moments, many find what Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God."
And Matthias, how is this changing your time with God?
Well, I'm embracing this extra time to rest in my relationship with Him. It gives me an opportunity to reflect more on all He has given me and how grateful that I am that He is my Savior. And time to fuss with my wife.
Yes, I've noticed. It's quite different from our usual rush morning routines.
And that's the hidden blessing when we are locked inside by extreme cold and ice. They force us to pause and be present.
So there's a blessing in the midst of challenges. Like changing seasons are part of nature, it's all part of God's plan.
Yes, and challenges like these serve a purpose in our spiritual growth and understanding.
And perhaps that's why winter devotionals feel so powerful.
Exactly, they remind us that even in nature's harshest moments, we can find profound connection with God.
And Matthias, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share?
Sometimes the most powerful spiritual moments come when we embrace rather than resist the challenging seasons of life.
Just like this Arctic blast at Lake Bob Sandlin.
Precisely. These moments remind us that every season, even the coldest, has its own sacred purpose.
Thank you for joining us on Fireside Faith Podcast, where we've discovered that even during an ice storm, warmth can flourish.